So, hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back again to another new video. Where in our previous video we have learned about some essential command line tools such as curl, wget, ssh, ftp like tools in Linux. If you haven't watched that, then I recommend you to watch that first and complete my Linux for Hacker course previous videos, and this will gonna helpful for this video as because that is the foundation of all these things. In this video, we are going to learn basically some of the basics of shell scripting. So as an ethical hacker or whether you are a penetration tester or a bug bounty hunter, it is essential to learn some basic concept of shell scripting. It will gonna helpful for you when you automate your task and regular uh, task schedules. It will gonna very helpful for you. So let's get today's video. Uh, Before dive into the details of shell scripting, you need to understand first what a shell is. Discussed about shell in my previous video, so if you haven't watched that, then make sure to watch that first. But for this video, I am again gonna describe what a shell is. So as you can see on this diagram, this is the hardware part, and this is the kernel. This is the shell, and these are the utility softwares which you see on your Linux computer, which might be a wget command or a cat command, nano, text editor, etc. Doesn't matter. But the shell is basically a command line interpreter, or you can say a shell is a special user program that provides an interface for the users to use operating system services. So it basically accepts human readable commands from the users and convert them into something which can understandable by the kernel of the operating system. It is a command language interpreter that executes commands read from input devices such as keyboard, from files, etc. And the shell gets started when the users logs into the and start the terminal. This is how a shell basically works. But what is the need to learn shell scripting? So what are the benefits of it? So by learning shell scripting, you can automate your task. As I have early mentioned in my video, the shell script allows you to automate a repetitive task which you often follow in a regular basis on your Linux system. Here is the introduction for you to the bash shell. Basically, the Linux command line is provided by a program called shell. Over the years, the shell program has evolved a category of various options. There are several types of shell available in Linux, such as bash shell, sh shell, fish shell, and etc. Almost most of the shell supports common commands. The shell scripting or the bash scripting, we often call it as a bash script. What it basically is, a bash script is a series of commands written in a file. They are read and executed by the bash program. The program executes its line by line. For example, you can navigate to a certain path, create a folder, and spawn a process inside it using the command line. You can do the same sequence of steps by saving the commands in the in the bash file or in the bash script and running it. You can run the script any number of times, whatever you want. Here is a few common question, which is how do you identify a bash script or a shell script? So the file extension of the shell script is .sh, but in Linux it doesn't matter whether you specify a file extension or not, as because Linux doesn't care about your extension. It basically analyze your content of the file, what the type of content is. But for a best practice use case, you need to provide a extension of your bash script, which is a .sh. So scripts starts with a line which you often might have seen, which is this line, the hashtag hash symbol and the exclamation mark and the forward slash, then bin, then forward slash bash. So what is the line called? This is basically called a shebang line. Scripts are also identified with a shebang line. Shebang is a combination of bash hash and bang followed by the bash shell path. This is the first line of the shell script. Almost all the shell script are available in the Linux environment. So a shebang line tells the shell to execute it via bash shell. Shebang is a simply an absolute path to the bash interpreter. So here it is. You can see this is the shebang line which we will gonna perform when we will gonna perform the practical example of writing our first shell script. I will show you the how we can use the shebang line in our shell script, so don't get worried about that. First complete our basics. So overview of the shell scripting I am currently giving you, which is you can see after writing a shell script and after saving with it a .sh file, we can we need to give it executable permission. As the shell script is an executable file, it needs to be executed by the kernel, so we need to give permissions. As we know that permissions are everywhere in Linux, whether it is a file or whether it is a script. We need to assign appropriate permission to do appropriate actions with that particular file or with that particular script. So permissions are everything in Linux. So if you haven't watched or if you haven't cleared the concept about permissions and file permissions in Linux, so you can watch my previous video. I have made a special video on Linux file permission, which is the Linux for Hacker course part 5. You can watch it here. So let's come to our topic. So after saving in your shell script into a .sh file, you the executable permission by specifying the chmod plus x command. And after giving or after assigning the executable permission to your shell script, you can change the you can see the change in color of that particular file. It will be in green symbol, or the color might slightly change, you can see. For getting our hands dirty on shell script, you need to understand the theoretical concepts of shell scripting or shell programming. So the shell scripting, or you can say the shell, is also a programming language, or you can say like the C++, Java. If you have any previous or any prior programming background or programming knowledge, if you know any kind of programming language such as Python, C++, Java, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. But if you have that, then it will gonna very helpful to understand the shell scripting, and it will you can understand very easily. But don't worry if you don't have that kind of background. I will let you through in very simple. We will cover about variables, data types, input output operation, loops, structure, conditional statement, and all these things in our next videos. So this was a basic introductory video about shell scripting, how we will gonna do these things or how we will gonna handle these things in later. This was a very introductory video of shell scripting. I think you have an overall idea about what a shell script is and how it basically happen and how it basically be handled by our Linux system. What is the purpose of writing a shell script in our hacking journey? Our next video, we will start by doing practically, or we will learn by doing practically things. So stay tuned for our next video. If you like this video, then hit a like, and if you want these kinds of content, so don't forget to subscribe our channel. Next video, till then, keep hacking, keep learning, and goodbye.